Hello again and welcome back. Now that you have defined your brand, targeted your ideal customers, differentiated your business from the competition, properly positioned your business in the marketplace, and designed your brand's visual identity, the next step to growing your business is to develop one of your business's most valuable and important consumer touchpoints, your website. In the next few lessons, I will demonstrate the best practices to lay out, design, and build a branded website that will attract more customers, engage with your audience, provide them with a solution to solve their problems, capture leads, and generate more sales. So if you are ready to put all of your hard work to the test, let's get started right now. Building a web page layout is the first step in designing a full website and will serve as the foundation for the entire website. It will determine how the content is presented, received, and how well it will impact, communicate with, and influence your visitors. The visual hierarchy and flow of every page must be an easy to understand and intuitive experience for the viewer. A web page layout is how visual elements are arranged and ordered on the web page to enhance the message and help the visitor navigate. It's the sequence of events and strategic placement that will draw the most attention, create overall balance, direct the visitor, and lead them toward the content in order of significance. A great web page layout will keep the visitor on the website longer by making the most important and engaging information accessible and easy to find. However, a bad web page layout will frustrate the visitor. If they are unable to easily find the information that they are searching for, they will quickly leave the website and most likely never return. Users won't give a web page more than a few seconds of their time to capture their curiosity, so be sure to put in the effort required to properly lay out each of your web pages to create the best user experience. When choosing a layout for your web pages, there are a few things to consider in order to create the best user experience. The first is to make sure that the layout supports your brand strategy, most importantly, your visual identity and your brand's personality. Go back and review some of the previous lessons and pay close attention to anything that you defined that could be applied to your web page layouts. Think about who your audience is and how they would like to experience your website. For example, is your brand style elegant and refined, or is it fun and animated? Should you take advantage of lots of white space and be freeform, or should your layout be structured into a well-defined grid? There are some very important and useful information within the work that you have already completed that will help you choose the best web page layouts for your business website. Next, think about the content that will be on your web pages. Perhaps you have a lot of text that needs to be included. In this case, maybe you should choose a layout that breaks up sections of text with supporting images. If your website is an e-commerce store, the best solution may be to choose a column and row layout so all the products are easily viewable. Or maybe your business holds a lot of events, or you have consistent recent news that content that needs to be updated often. In this case, the best solution may be a magazine style page layout. Whichever type of layout you choose, it's important that it is non-restrictive and allows for a certain amount of creativity. Your website should be an enjoyable visual experience, easy to navigate, and intuitive. To help you choose the best web page layout for your business, here are 10 of the most effective and commonly used website layouts. Layout option number 1 is a Z pattern layout. This layout pattern is based on a sequence of visual events that takes place from the viewer's perspective. When we launch a web page in our browser, the first thing we do is quickly glance over it to get an overview of the landscape and the content. Our eyes move from the top left corner to the top right corner, then they move down to the bottom left and finally over to the right again. The Z pattern layout takes advantage of this scanning habit by distributing the important information across these visual points of contact. The company logo will typically appear first in the upper left corner, then a navigation menu and an obvious call to action button across the horizontal axis in the upper right corner. Then the viewer's eyes travel diagonally left, and down the page is where you should place important attention-grabbing information. For example, exciting visuals, bold headlines, a compelling message, or anything that introduces, describes, and welcomes the viewer to what the website is about. Finally, as the viewer's eyes travel horizontally back across the page to the right, you should include a culmination of everything that the design has been leading up to so far, whether that's buying a product, purchasing a membership, downloading a document, booking a service, or any other final call to action. Z-pattern web page layouts are great for businesses that require minimal amounts of text copy and have a specific purpose or conversion goal to offer. Layout option number 2 is an F-pattern layout. Similar to the Z-pattern layout, this layout design is also based on a visitor's visual page scanning behavior. The F-pattern layout is typically used for web pages that include a lot of text because it mimics how a person would read sentences and paragraphs. The upper left is the initial focal point and would typically include the most important element, for example, a headline, subtitle, or a featured image. This viewer will spend the most amount of time analyzing this horizontal line across the top of the page. They will then scan vertically down the left side of the page, occasionally scanning back to the right to collect additional information that could be highlighted in a compelling way by using additional subtitles, bullet points, icons, or imagery. F-pattern web page layouts are great for text-heavy web pages like blog posts or lengthy product descriptions. Layout option number 3 is a full screen image layout. This type of layout introduces the viewer with a large full browser with photo, graphic, illustration, or video at the top of the page. Typically, this large graphic is overlaid with a brief but bold headline, subtitle, and a call to action. This large visual results in creating an immersive, eye-catching, and impactful experience while communicating the brand's message. If you choose this type of layout, be sure that the large graphic is high quality and the headline properly represents your brand's personality, your purpose, and will generate a positive response from your target demographic. And because of the initial impact statement that this layout presents, it also works well on mobile. Full screen image web page layouts are great for service businesses like restaurants, wellness companies, or businesses that have a few niche products that they want to boldly display. Layout option number 4 is a split screen layout. This layout option takes the top section of the website and splits it vertically down the center to create 2 equal sections on the left and on the right. A split screen layout allows the designer to place equal emphasis on both sections and create distinction between the 2 different elements. For example, a clothing website that wants to promote both men's and women's clothing lines without one overpowering the other. The split screen layout option is also popular to divide a video or an image on one side and then text content on the other side. For example, the designers can place a video on the left and then a heading and text on the right side, further supporting the video with a call to action. Split screen web page layouts are great for businesses that want to separate significantly different types of content or businesses that want to evenly combine both visuals and text content. Layout option number 5 is an asymmetrical layout. This layout is very similar to the split screen layout, however, more emphasis is being placed on either the left or the right side. Designers can really get creative with this layout and create visual tension through non-uniform distribution of scale, color, and width across the page. Split screen pages look more dynamic and can direct the visitor's focus towards specific elements. High contrast imagery or big bold blocks of color paired with light and airy text can make an extremely impactful statement. Asymmetrical web page layouts are great for modern and contemporary brands who are interested in presenting an innovative style. Layout option number 6 is a single column layout. This is a simple layout style that displays all the content in a single centered vertical column down the page. The content may be divided into additional columns within a parent column to add emphasis or to separate sections, but the main centered column remains consistent. A single column layout can be used for text-heavy web pages, but if you do, try to break it up occasionally using images, headers, or subtitles. Single column web page layouts are great for businesses that need to display large amounts of content in a chronological order like blogs or media feeds. Layout option number 7 is a boxed layout. A boxed web page layout organizes multiple elements geometrically down the page. Each box contains its own unique and neatly contained piece of content. This layout creates a uniform look because each section holds the same weight, value, and emphasis. These individual boxes are often linked to additional web pages with more information. Keep in mind that the boxes do not need to be all the same size. The designer can put more emphasis on certain boxes based on the importance or the relevance of the content. Boxed web page layouts are great for businesses that need to display large amounts of content or features that require additional pages to provide more information. Layout option number 8 is a cards layout. This layout is similar to a box layout. However, in this instance, each rectangular container is usually the same size and holds the same value. The content within each container is typically designed using the same colors, size, and fonts, so each section is visually treated equally. This results in a modular design that allows for intuitive and approachable browsing that fits well on all screen sizes. Card web page layouts are great for businesses that offer an online store and need to organize their products or services. Layout option number 9 is a magazine layout. This type of layout is inspired by printed newspapers and is built on a hierarchy of multi-column grids organized down the page. Each section or container is independent of all the others and can be emphasized based on its priority. A wide array of images, videos, headlines, subtitles, text box, and graphics can be used to quickly communicate large amounts of content and information. Magazine web page layouts are great for content-heavy businesses like news websites or online publications. Layout option number 10 is a horizontal row layout. This type of layout breaks up individual full-width sections of content down the page. Each section is not only full browser width, but typically almost full browser height as well. By separating content into these large horizontal rows, it builds user anticipation for the next section as they scroll down the page. Every row can be designed using individual brand colors, full screen photographs, and parallax to create motion and depth. Horizontal row web page layouts are great for businesses that need to present large amounts of content in a long scroll. They also work well to present all the information as a journey without having to break the user's attention. Now that you have 10 great proven examples of web page layouts to choose from, let me help you even more by giving you 7 pro tips to designing the most effective web page layouts. Pro tip number 1, use negative space to create visual impact. Great designers know how to use empty, negative, or white space to create greater visual impact. Using empty space will draw the viewer's attention towards an object or content of greater importance. For example, if a designer places a black square next to a white square, the black square will outweigh the white, and then the human eye will be drawn towards that black side of the page. Pro tip number 2, create visual balance and symmetry through separation. I personally prefer creating symmetry in all of my designs. For me, it's a pleasurable experience to view a well-balanced and professional-looking page. By aligning and separating sections of content on a page that have the same weight and visual impact gives the impression of stability and structure. Balanced layouts are also easily scannable, so the viewer can quickly interpret and understand the content. Pro tip number 3, stimulate the audience through visual tension. When designers use high contrast colors, oversized typefaces, and bold imagery, the viewer has no choice but to be drawn towards the object that is demanding the most visual tension. This can be especially useful when you need to emphasize an element as quickly as possible. Be careful not to overdo it though. You want to attract the attention of the website viewer, not distract them or cause visual distress. Pro tip number 4, create emphasis through focal points. Similar to creating visual tension, designers should also create several focal points on the web page layout. Focal points are typically call to action buttons that are designed using the attention colors from your brand's visual identity guidelines. Other effective focal points are bold headlines, descriptive icons, or photos of human faces. Pro tip number 5, accomplish the goals of the content. One of the most important tips of choosing or designing any page layout is to make sure that it accomplishes the goals of your website. Think about the type of content that your business is providing to your audience and what is the best way to present that content and create an enjoyable experience. Pro tip number 6, tell a compelling story. A web page layout should not be a random mix of content without any hierarchy. Think about the message that your business needs to communicate. What web page layout is the best possible way to communicate that message to the viewer? Think of the web page layout as a journey where you weave and lead the audience through a process that ends in clarity and a specific action. And pro tip number 7 is be creative and experiment. Keep in mind that you don't have to use any of the traditional page layout types that I described earlier. Sometimes breaking the mold may be the best option to create the greatest impact. Unexpected arrangement of elements on the page could make a website stand out and achieve a more memorable outcome for the viewer. However, keep in mind that the end user's experience is more important than the design. All right, guys, that is it for now. Be sure to review and complete the action guide for this module, and I will see you in the next session.